Good evening and salutations, my G fans. The only thing that I actually liked about the Molly and Christina scene today was that they made up. Everything up until that point was just extremely obnoxious, exhausting, and it just made Molly come across as this whiny, annoying, bratty, 12-year-old little girl that could not handle her emotions and could not sit there and see for the life of me that the only thing that Christina was trying to do was help out her sister. That she was going to give up a year of her life, go through God knows whatever changes in her body, just sit there and try to help out this ungrateful brat. Okay? Because that's honestly, tell you the truth, that's the only energy that I saw coming out of this girl's mouth. Again, it's kind of unfortunate because I can't sit there and evaluate if she's actually being a good Molly or like an actress or whatever, because I'm just too annoyed to sit and even really look at that. Sam was able to sit there and find a way to have them just talk it out, and thank God that they did because any more any more scenes with those two just going at it, and I just would have wanted to just hit the fast forward button. And then at that point, my guess would have been just as good as yours as far as what happened because I just couldn't deal with it. Um, Now this scene with Esme, first you had this out of nowhere scene with Esme and Cyrus, which don't get me wrong, I love myself. I love sitting there watching, Ponytail and just Cyrus just being there. It's just I don't know. I just like the actor and I like the character, even though I'm not really a huge fan of the whole way that he's taking this whole Bible thumping thing. But with that being said, it's nice to see him. It just seemed like it was just like pointless. Like, what was the point of him sitting there talking to Esme? Like, I don't really understand that. She was super defensive when she found out that, at first she thought that he was a Cassadine. Then he's like, oh no, I'm, Laura's my sister and everything. And it didn't really go anywhere until Heather came there, which this is something else I don't understand. So she came there to see Heather, to sit there and ask, why did you give me up? But Heather told her. Heather told her why she gave um, Esme up. And it had a lot to do with Ryan and the fact that he just was not in a good place and they were criminals on the run and stuff like that. Like she told her all this. So I just don't understand why she went there, sitting there like, why'd you give me up for it? Really? Because I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we didn't have that scene. So did you just assume that people just forgot? The only thing that this scene actually was good at is that maybe it hinted at the fact that Esme had something to do with her foster parents' deaths. That was it. Other than that, it was just Heather Smith saying that Spencer's this and Spencer's that, and they're not gonna sit there and really love you and trust you and stuff, and maybe in a way is gonna give back some of the dark Esme that I really miss. Not this whiny, obsessive version of her. And she does kind of realize that a little bit. Like she tries to have a conversation with Spencer, and Spencer's like, "So is it about the baby? No, all right. Well then I'm busy." So she just had that look on her face, like, "Okay, maybe they may not forget what I've done." This whole thing about redemption and trying to be a better person and trying to, you know, have people forgive her for what she did. It's like, how is that even going to work? What is she going to sit there and say, oh, I'm sorry, Trina, that you almost died. I'm sorry, Trina, that I almost sat there and sent you away to prison for a crime that you didn't commit. Like, what is, like, what is any of that going to sit there and do? I guess because I always sit there and find it funny that people are just like, oh, Esme did this, and Esme did that, and Esme sit there and pay, and it's like, how? What is she going to do? She going to go to jail? Because Trina was the one that said it was a good idea to let her out for Ace of Six. So like, I don't get it. Um, Now the conversation between Trina and Spencer, Portia clearly got in this man's head. Okay, because now he's sitting there starting to doubt himself, and he's sitting there asking her, you know, does my presence in your life make things better? And I don't think he got the answer that he was looking for because Trina was like, yeah, well, we had our ups and downs and stuff, and things have been, hard and stuff. And, when you ask a question like that, you want to hear something that's going to be positive. So this way you can have a sign of relief and be like, oh, okay, good. But he didn't get that right away. And you can practically sit there and see the sweat beads that was coming off this man's forehead. Now, she does sit there and hug him, and they're like, listen, we're gonna sit there and get through this together, and yada yada yada. But I feel like this is, the beginning of the end for those two. I really do. Seriously, I really do. Between Portia getting in Spencer's head, all the complications that comes with being with Spencer, with Esme and the baby, and you can start to see that is going to start to fall apart. I mean, on top of the fact that Nicholas Chavez is also leaving the show to be on Netflix and stuff, so the writing's on the wall. Okay, I don't want anyone to sit there and act like they're surprised or be like, "Oh my God, I'm so mad." It's like, no. the writing's on the wall, and we can actually probably take that back to when Trina decided to just spring up and just show up at Spencer's house while he was busy taking care of Hayes, to where we are now. Now, what else happened in this episode? Okay, so this scene with Sasha stabbing Cody. I don't understand a couple of things. Okay, I don't understand why it took Maxie to sit there and scream out, "Somebody call 911," before anyone decided to, call 911, get the cops there, or anything like that. Everyone's just kind of just standing there, just like staring around. And Maxie's sitting there looking at this whole situation, and she practically has to sit there and like throw herself in the way of Cody. Be like, "Yo, listen, this isn't Cyrus. This is Cody." But my whole thing is like, you're sitting there telling me there's a bunch of people that's there, and no one could be bothered to, I don't know, maybe take the knife away from her before y'all just are just going to be a witness to a murder at this point. Like everyone's just kind of standing like, it's just shocking. I saw a couple of big dudes over there. They're not going to really do anything. Like, wait, what? And then when the cops get there, right? Some of the ask all these questions, and one of the cops is like, "Yo, listen, you better hope that this guy makes it." But I'm like, at what point in time did no one not think of maybe we should sit there and put handcuffs on her? Just throwing it out there. No one at any point in time. The cops are there, just sit there investigating stuff, asking questions, and I'm just like, so we just gonna let this chick who just walked up and stabbed somebody not have handcuffs on? In what universe? I guess in the soap opera universe. I just asked my own question. But eventually, the guy does, put the cuffs on her, and Max is like, "Do you think that's necessary?" Actually, did you really just ask that question? Like, really? Do you think it's necessary? And of course, Gladys is there, sit there and try to comfort her, and be like, "Oh, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Everything's gonna be fine." And it's like, you just watched her stab him in. Like, I get that you don't like Cody, but this dude dies. That's on you. And the doctor, of course. But that's on you. And there's no remorse from this woman whatsoever. Which, I said this in my my live stream yesterday. That they are making her so bad that when she stands next to Nina, Nina looks good. Nina looks normal and sane compared to Gladys. Now, alright. So this story with Sasha, it's getting a lot of people upset, and they're like, why can't you just not make her happy? Why is she never happy and stuff? And now, granted, this isn't this isn't even so much really my comment section, right? Like I was on Instagram, And people are complaining about Sasha and be like, why can't she just have a happy story? And I'm just like, but the thing is, if they make her, the thing is, and this is just my opinion, if they make her have a very happy story and she's just happy and stuff, then it's going to be boring. Sasha's storyline is compelling, it's engaging, it's suspenseful, and it's intense. And this is what we look for in these stories. We look for things like that. They're actually giving us that, and yet people are sitting there being like, "Why, poor Sasha, poor this," and it's like, do you want her just be happy and everyone just be bored to tears? Because I feel like that's the only other route that you can sit there and take. Again, I'm not really meant to talk about anyone in the comment section. This is just mostly that, like I said, I was on Instagram, and some people was in the comment section being like, da 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 da. Um, just really being happy that they're giving Sasha such a dark storyline. I'm like, this is what we. And of course, I said something. I'm like, y'all need to sit there and just chill out because this is actually a really good and compelling storyline that they're giving us. So like, chill out. Of course, my comment didn't go over too well, and well, my responses towards those people was not any better. Yeah, I was a dick. What else we got going on? Oh, so Cody being stabbed. Sam got the call and she went down to GH. She finds out that Sasha did it. She's like, yo, what's going on? Now, at first, she was going to sit and approach him, and she thought that stabbing had something to do with Miss Wu, the poker games, and, all that nonsense. Because not that long ago, the dude got pretty worked over by some other dude that was literally the same size as him, and it was just one person, but I'm going to somehow forget that. So she thought it had something to do with his gambling and stuff. And then towards the end, you see Sasha um, handcuffed, looking at him, and being wheeled off to whatever psych ward they could sit there and put her in. And like I said yesterday, that was pretty much just going to be her exit storyline. Now, this scene with Sunny, Nina, Ava, and Austin was already awkward because Sunny is just giving this dude the side eye, and um, Austin's trying to explain himself like, yo, listen, I get it, I'm around your daughter and stuff. You want to sit there and kind of get to know me and yada yada yada. So this is already just kind of a tense scene in itself. Dude named Gordon just comes up there and is like, hey, listen, I need to sit there and talk to you, Austin. It's just making this a real scene, right? So Austin's like, all right, cool, let's sit there and just talk in the back alley or whatever. So they go in the back alley, and this dude wants money from Mason, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. What does that have to do with Austin? Like, why don't you take up your problems with Austin instead of Mason? Let me tell you the reason why. Because he wouldn't be able to pull that BS with Mason. Mason's not the type of guy you would want to walk up on and be like, oh, I'll break your arm. I'll sit there and do this, that, and the third. No, Mason ain't having that. But Austin, on the other hand, which is why he went after him, because I'm just like, bro, okay, so, like, talk to Mason. Now, Sonny comes there, and Sonny's like, all right, so is there a problem? Does look like there's a problem? And he pretty much just makes him apologize to Austin and walks off. And then he tells Austin, like, hey, because Austin tries to make us like, oh, well, you know how patients are. They don't get what they want and they get angry and stuff like that. And Sonny's like, all right, so you want to just go back to the table with the girls? And he does. They're all sitting there, just kind of talking or whatever. But the thing is, Sonny heard most of that conversation. Not all of it, but enough to be like, okay, so this dude is kind of shady, whatever. Let me sit there and look into him. Which is why he didn't give him the riot act. After he left, he wants to sit there and probably get more information out of him. He knows there's something off, but if he confronts him now, he's going to clam up. So, makes sense. Now, for the past 2 days that this chick has walked in, the actress that plays Molly, I'm just there just I couldn't get a good read on her acting because I was just too pissed off at her. Then I started to notice something, right? Because I've seen a lot of people sit there and say she's a lot older and, she's different and yada, yada, yada. I think we need to sit there and keep in mind a couple of things, right? Haley, who has been playing Molly for since she was a child, right? She grew into that character. Like she literally made that character her own. I'm not just saying that Molly and Haley have the same personality. I mean, they clearly don't, but she's been playing that character since she was 8, right? So I really feel like no matter who they get to sit there and play her, they're not going to do full justice, right? This is just going for it as a personality and stuff like that. You're not going to be able to match somebody's personality, and you know, makes me think. Unless this character is a super popular character, I feel like it's things like this where it's like if they can't find somebody who's going to be like it's very difficult, especially since she's been playing this from such a young age. It's like it might just been better maybe they just shelved her, you know, just shelved. I don't know. Maybe TJ gets somebody new. I don't know. Maybe they're just looking at it from the days of our lives approach. They're not going to get somebody that's going to match her as far as personality. Now, as far as looks is concerned, they could sit there and do it more better. I mean, the other one was the temporary one. She was younger. They got this one. She looks a bit older. So it's at the end of the day, also it's like you can't sit there and please everyone. You can't. Either you're gonna sit there and she looks too old. She's not. I'm not feeling Molly from her. And it's like, of course you're not. This is a different actress. She's been playing that role for years. You're never going to get the same personality, the same bizarre, whatever you want to sit there and call it, the same energy. It's like having somebody, and I hate to sit there and say this to try to like on a horn or anything like that, but I'll switch it around. Okay? That's like me taking over DC's account, and I'm gonna sit there and do a review just like him. Okay? I've been doing a dialogue and everything like that. I'm just not going to get it, and that's just how it is. So kind of sucks because it's like that's unfortunately who we're gonna sit there and get unless they decide to recast her again. Um, but I sit there and say that the girl is doing the best that she can with you know not so much in the material that she has, but more of because she's getting. Here's the thing: she's actually getting some really compelling material. She has a story of something that a lot of women deal with, and it may not even always be shown on screen. So she's getting good stuff. It's not the stuff that she's getting. It's not the dialogue that she's getting. It's just the fact that she has a different personality than somebody who grew up playing the same character for years. Just never really going to work out, unfortunately. Now, as far as Kate is concerned, that's a little bit different, which I hate to sit there and say. I feel like at this point she just played a different character. I really do. It sucks, but I don't know. But again, I could be wrong, and the same thing as applied to Molly could be applied to Christina. Actually, now I think about it, I think that actually does make more sense. Um, I think I actually kind of had to amend that statement. I mean, granted, she has been playing it for a very long. She's been playing the role since the first time that they did a recast on Michael, and that was played by Garrett or something like that, or Garnett or something. She's been playing it since then. So I don't know. Maybe all my whining and complaining just didn't really go too much of anywhere because they're just never going to match her. I mean, granted, they didn't sit there and try to do the same body type either, but whatever. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. Oh no, I messed up notes. Oh yeah, also Curtis is paralyzed. There. let's just skip all the summary up until that point. Let's just go right with that. But the sad thing is that everyone knew. Everyone knew. Listen, when the doctors came in, right? There was only going to be a couple of things that's going to wind up happening when Curtis woke up. He was either going to not remember who he is because soap opera logic, or he was going to be paralyzed. I knew he was going to be paralyzed because of the injury. So at this point, it's just a waiting game. And so yeah, he's paralyzed. Oh yeah, also Portia was there. She didn't really do too much except for act like her usual self, which is good or bad depending on the day and who she's there talking to. And also TJ was there. I think TJ knew. TJ and Portia both knew. So yeah. Also, I had Daddy was there. I want to make sure I didn't forget any names of people that really didn't do too much of anything. Um, I feel like there's more, but I can't sit there and remember who it is, who they are, or anything else that happened. So, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video or live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and go over all the soaps, days, B&B, GH, and Y&R. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.